Have you ever imagined being captivated by a photograph? In the 1980 film Somewhere in Time, the protagonist Richard becomes obsessed with a photograph of an actress who was active 70 years ago and tries every possible way to go to the past just to fall in love with her. As romantically absurd as it seems, is it really? Do you see a photograph as something flat and static, something unmovable and ancient, or do you believe it has the potential to cause an effect as crazy as depicted in Somewhere in Time?
I send you the photographs.
No, I want them now.
In Roland Barthes' Camera Lucida, Reflections on Photography, he expresses his frustration with the limitations of the photograph. He writes, I cannot penetrate, cannot reach into the photograph. However long I extend this observation, it teaches me nothing. I exhaust myself realizing that this has been. What Barthes means is that when it is a random object that you don't really feel strongly about, the photo is just a photo. It does not carry any significant meaning to you. It's just evidence that the object existed, at least at the time the photo was taken. But what if, instead of random objects, you see photos of your family or friends cooking? You probably don't feel emotionally detached anymore. You might start feeling the smell of the food, the way they flip ingredients in the pan, or hear their voice as they chat carelessly without worrying about hygiene. Why do photos of objects and people have such a different emotional impact? When it's an object, you might feel indifferent, but when it's a human being, you feel more connected. Barth writes, seeing a bottle, an iris stalk, photographed involves only reality. But a body, a face, and what is more frequently, the body and face of a beloved person? Since photography authenticates the existence of a certain being, I want to discover that being in the photograph completely. Here, the photograph's platitude becomes more painful, for it can correspond to my fond desire only by something inexpressible, evident yet improbable. This is perhaps why looking at old photos of people you know can be emotional, but also frustrating and depressing. You sort of feel like you see that person, but this seeing might be just a surface level perception, unlike the real interaction with that person. For example, when I look at this old photo of me and my sister, I feel like her personality was not truly captured. In this picture, she looks a bit absent minded, but in reality, she was a cute, weird kid. In fact, some modern technologies are designed to address this issue. They may not explicitly state that they solve this problem, but I think it's what subconsciously drives their creation. You can, for example, use AI technology to transform old photos into videos where people act in ways that reflect their real personality, or what Barthes calls their air. But are these technologies really necessary? Are they helping us penetrate into photos as Barthes desires, or are they causing us to lose the real air of our loved ones, which is not contained in the photo or even the AI generated video, but rather in our memory, or better yet, in the combined and intricate form of memory and imagination?
You have traveled back in time. Soon, you will open your eyes, and you will walk into the corridor, and you will go downstairs and find Elise McKenna.
In Somewhere in Time, just by looking at a static photo of the actress Elise McKenna, Richard triggers a deep emotional response based on his imagination, which later propels him back 70 years in time to encounter the real, physical Elise. The materialization of Elise from a static black and white photo implies that when imagination is activated, you don't even need a video to be intrigued or emotionally captured by a person. A static photo, even a black and white one, is enough. This also echoes Barthes' observation. Such would be the photograph's fate. By leading me to believe that I have found the true total photograph, it accomplishes the unheard of identification of reality. That has been, with truth, there she is. It becomes at once evidential and exclamative. It bears the effigy to that crazy point where affects, love, compassion, grief, enthusiasm, desire is a guarantee of being. It then approaches, to all intents, madness. The photograph's ability to make the past feel vividly present pushes it beyond a simple representation into something almost hallucinatory. It doesn't just show us what was, it forces us to confront the reality that it has been, which carries a deep emotional weight. In this sense, the photograph becomes a total image, combining visual proof with an overwhelming sense of presence. Barthes connects this to Julia Kristeva's idea of la vérité folle, truth madness, suggesting that the photograph's emotional impact disrupts rational understanding. Its truth isn't purely intellectual or logical, it's deeply felt, almost uncontrollable. This is similar to how, when Richard accidentally returns to his own time, where Elise is no longer present, he cannot get over the truth that she truly has been there, and this realization drives him into madness. Yet, as powerful as visual perception might be, its emotional resonance often depends on the imagination and memory it evokes. The photograph's impact lies not just in what is seen, but in how it interacts with our inner world, making the past more vivid than the present. This idea resonates with Junichiro Tanizaki's 1933 novel Shunkin-sho, where memory and imagination prove more vivid and emotionally compelling than direct visual perception. Shunkin, born into a wealthy Osaka family, loses her sight at a young age. Despite her blindness, she becomes a renowned musician, admired for her grace and beauty. Her family arranges for Sasuke, a lowly apprentice in their household, to become her caretaker and later her pupil. Over time, Sasuke grows deeply devoted to Shunkin, and their relationship turns romantic, though it remains secret due to societal norms. A pivotal moment occurs when Shunkin is disfigured in an attack, and she retreats into seclusion, fearing the loss of her beauty. Sasuke's devotion remains unwavering, and in an act of ultimate love, he blinds himself to truly share in her world. In the novel, Sasuke's 21 years of life after Shunkin's death are described. During those solitary 21 years, he must have gradually built up a vision of Shunkin which bore little relation to the actual woman, picturing the imaginary figure with ever-increasing clarity. As unsettling as the novel's plot may seem, it reflects how we all remember people from the past. How often do we remember something simply by visually perceiving it? No. Usually, it presents itself in our mind more vividly than it actually was during the moment it happened. Even though you might not look at old photos regularly, you still think of those people from the past as if they were beside you, talking, laughing. In Writing Down the Bones, Freeing the Writer Within, Natalie Goldberg explains how writers can naturally absorb details from their environment and recall them vividly when creating. Be awake to the details around you, but don't be self-conscious. Relax, enjoy the wedding, be present with an open heart. You will naturally take in your environment, and later, sitting at your desk, you will be able to recall just how it was dancing with the bride's red-headed mother, seeing the bit of red lipstick smeared on her front tooth when she smiled, and smelling her perfume mixed with perspiration. Perhaps it is all about enjoying the there and then that truly matters. If we truly immerse ourselves in the moment, no matter how much time has passed, the memory and the imagination that grows over time will be able to reconstruct the person, whether or not there is a good photo to reference.